Hi, creative friends. This is Soraya, and thank you so much for being here. So, I am not going to be working on this portrait today. I am going to be doing something completely different, and I do this often. When my daughter was younger, I actually worked on so many different projects and art journals all at one time. And when she was little, I kind of did it more to manage my time better so I could get the most out of it. But I learned so much from working in that way, and there are just an incredible amount of reasons to switch from one art journal project, etc., to another. And I don't look at it as being flighty or not being committed or any of those things. It's absolutely not true, at least not in my experience. So I'm just going to put this aside. And what I'm going to do today is I am going to be using only two materials. And I'm going to combine that very restrictive use of art supplies with another technique. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to use charcoal, and I think I'm going to use a red alizarin crimson type of paint, ink, whatever. Now you can vary this. So you don't have to use charcoal. You can use a graphite pencil. You don't have to use red. You can use say sepia or say a yellow. You can mix and match, do whatever you want. But what I'm going to do is show you how using two, combining two techniques, if you will, a limited art palette, a very restricted art palette, with an unusual way of working. So those are two different ways of working, and you combine them together, and how it can increase your creativity, it can allow more emotion to be expressed, and it can strengthen your visual language. So the second thing I'm going to do is I am going to, in addition to using a very restricted color palette and materials, I am going to be using my non-dominant hand. Now, I made a video many months ago about using your non-dominant hand, and I will link it in the description to this video. I will put a link to that in case you were interested. But now I'm combining like the non-dominant hand use with a very limited palette, art materials, if you will. So while I work, I am going to be talking about why this is a good thing. Okay, so let me just start, and I'm just going to be using this little piece of charcoal here, and I'm just going to be drawing a face. So while I do that, I'm going to be talking, and hopefully this is all going to work out and I'm not going to get all muddled up. The first thing is, when you are working in this way, you're going to access your unconsciousness, and like the brain engages differently when I'm using my non-dominant hand, because it's gonna bypass all my learned patterns and habits, and it is going to unlock spontaneity, like your instinct, and a very raw way of creating art. The second reason to work in this way is it is not going to allow perfectionism at all. Like a lot of us struggle with facing the blank page. I mean, it doesn't matter how long you've been painting. There's something very intimidating about looking at a blank page and going, oh my God, like I don't know what to do. Like you get, maybe there's a little bit of nervousness or fear. Your inner critic comes out. But when you're working in this way, like there is no room for perfectionism, because you guys, like I am just happy that I can even draw or write with my non-dominant hand. Like I am not ambidextrous. So this is like a huge accomplishment if I can even draw anything resembling a face, okay? So you just don't have room for perfectionism. The third thing is there's a deliberate awkwardness and familiarity of using your non-dominant hand, and this can evoke a more visceral emotional connection to your materials. Like I'm not so focused on, oh, what is it going to look like? I'm more focused on just me even controlling my charcoal. Like it's very difficult. And if I had a pencil, it would still be difficult. The next reason is there's freedom in gesture. You're going to have looser marks. Like things are not going to be all tight and controlled. And, you're building up your muscle memory. So the next time you go and you use your dominant hand, you have that kind of muscle memory already that you've built up, and you're going to be able to tap into that. The next reason is you are going to push your visual language. And while it might seem really frustrating in the beginning, when you combine like unexpected things, like say me using my non-dominant hand with a very limited palette, those are very unexpected. But what I'm doing is I'm moving beyond my visual style, and this is going to open up new pathways of communicating visually, and it's going to strengthen my art in the long run. It's going to increase my creativity. It's going to allow me to become more visual. Like I'm looking more at my lines. I'm looking at like, oh my god, like look at this beautiful line over here. And in the long run, it's going to strengthen your visual language. Like I really want to use my right hand, but I'm not going to. I want to make some other marks here. The next thing is I can focus on process. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but instead of looking at like an outcome, I'm going to be focused more on the present moment. And your non-dominant hand is going to be clumsy. You're not going to have like as much control. And so I'm going to tend to focus on the experience and the journey. And like if you turn some music on, oh my god, like you can really get some beautiful lines, patterns, marks, etc. The next thing is you're going to have heightened sensory awareness because your non-dominant hand demands more attention to the feel of your materials. And it's going to allow you to really sink into the movement of your arm. It's going to allow a deeper connection to both your body and your tools. So, your charcoal, your paint, your paper, your entire body, and it's just going to be a completely different experience than when you're using your dominant hand. The next thing is you are going to build new artistic skills because you're challenging yourself. You're challenging yourself with new ways of working, and this is going to build a wider range of mark making techniques. And you can add to your visual language because you've done it now. So yeah, when you go to use your dominant hand, when you go to use your your say your regular color palette of many colors, many tools, you are still going to retain what you've learned by doing this. So you guys, I cannot express how freeing this is. Like, of course, when you're doing it, you do not have to show it to anybody. I am, recording this and posting it on YouTube, but there's just so much freedom in working in this way. And if you are comfortable posting it online, that is great, but you absolutely don't have to. My point is, like, look at her eyes, how expressive they are. Like, I would never think to do that if I was working with my right hand. I'm going to bring this up closer. Like, her eyes are just really, really expressive. And let me draw a nose here. This is going to be quite difficult, you guys. But, I'm just going to go for it. And I'm going to use a side of the charcoal to kind of make her hair here. Oops. And this does feel uncomfortable. This is totally taking me outside of my comfort zone, which is what I want. Whenever you are stretched outside your comfort zone, it actually forces you to think more creatively, and it creates new pathways in your brain, because you step outside of the familiar, and you're like kind of thinking outside the box, like you're forced to, because this is not a comfortable experience. But, like, look at this drawing. It is so emotive. Now, when I did the video on using my non-dominant hand, I also added writing to my page. And doing this, you are going to get like really beautiful marks. So I am going to, I'm gonna write down here. The last time I had a really beautiful experience, like my words got mixed up, but it just worked out beautifully. The beauty of, oh my god, of Lady Moon. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm calling her Lady Moon, but I am. So this is just like such a fun thing to do, you guys. Like, there's no stress. There's no, oh, I have to create a certain thing. This is just to loosen up. So just say that you are playing a musical instrument. It's kind of like, just doing scales. It's kind of just an exercise. It's the looseness, it's the unfamiliarity, it's the non-perfectionism. All of these things are going to tap into your unconsciousness. Your creativity is going to allow you to uh, create from a more emotional space. And all of these are good things. It takes us outside of our normal way of working, and it just allows like this fun beginner's mind, no expectation. And it all, all of this took like, I don't know, 10 minutes. So I would totally say, like, try this out. You can use a pencil, you can use a stabilo, you can use whatever color you want, but limit your materials to like 2 different art supplies, and then use your non-dominant hand. See what happens. You can even challenge yourself to do 10 of these drawings, 20 of them, 30 of them, whatever. It's just going to be such a learning experience. Anyway, you guys, if you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.